Thank you. We're back from executive session. Welcome back to the community/budget meeting of the Hauppauge Union Free School District Board of Education of February 28th, 2023. Kindly rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Number 4 on the agenda is the superintendent's update. Dr. Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Barchet. Thank you to those in attendance with the weather today, coming out tonight. So just sharing a couple student highlights. Gymnast Allison Tonry will represent Hauppauge at the state gymnastics championship this weekend. And then some recent incredible news across the district with some of our teams. So the boys swimming team League One champs, boys swimming Suffolk County overall champions, varsity boys basketball lost a tough one in the county quarterfinals, but had a great season. Our varsity cheerleading team, I mean, they're just year in and year out a juggernaut. They took 6th place at the UCA Nationals in Orlando and finished 2nd at the Section 11 County Championships. It's incredible. In wrestling, again, more success. We had 3 county finalists, Connor Sheridan, Gino Manta, and Frankie Volpe. 2 county champs, Connor and Frankie. And then at the states, Connor Sheridan came in 2nd at 102, and senior Frankie Volpe became Haupauge's 10th individual state champion when he won the 152-pound title at the states. So just incredible. So a round of applause for all of our student athletes. And just the last bit of news there, amongst our sports teams, Hauppauge wrestling coach, Chris Messina, everybody knows Coach Messina. He was named the NWCA New York State Coach of the Year. What can you say about Coach Messina? I tweeted this out, with hashtag legend. He's just a legend in Hauppauge, but honestly, he's known by everybody across the county and the state. So congratulations to Coach Messina.
Thank you, Dr. Murphy. Number 5 on the agenda, 5B, presentations, 2023/24 school budget by Bridget Sienna, our Assistant Superintendent for Business and Operations. Ms. Sienna.
Hello there.
Hello there.
So we are looking at 23-24. It's hard to believe that September to February went so quickly, but here we are. So the budget process obviously does not happen overnight. It's not something that we started yesterday. It's something that we started months ago. And even before that, there's a lot of things that go into it. So some of those things. District goals. For this year, 22-23, we took a look at board goals. We redid them. The mission statement, the vision statement, and all of those things tie in as you're developing a budget with all buildings, all departments, my job, anyone's job. At the forefront are the district goals, board goals, vision statements, so on and so forth. Next, enrollment and district staffing needs, taking a look at where you're at, where you want to be, where you need to be, and where you've been to continue with all the momentum. The impact of the teacher retirement system, employee retirement system, and health insurance. Not only those things, but also the 5 collective bargaining agreements that we have. All of those things, and people and staffing in general for a school district, total at least 70% of the district's budget. Next, maintaining successful educational programs and opportunities for our students. That again ties back into our district goals. And then navigating all of the above while operating within the tax levy limit. Looking at district enrollment, so where we are at today for 22-23, 3177. What we're projecting for 23-24, 3129, but again, it's only February. There's a long way to go between now and September. Looking at staffing updates, there are 3 instructional retirements. Those retirements will be replaced with new teachers. For departmental increases in English, math, special ed, STEAM, and reading. Then looking at some curriculum and instruction highlights.
Bridget, can you go
Yes.
back one slide?
Sorry.
It's okay. So the 3 retirements are being replaced by 3 teachers, and there's also departmental FTE increases on top of that?
Yes.
Understood. Okay.
Curriculum and instruction highlights. So the current budget or the proposed budget maintains present class sizes and programs. It supports college awareness and post-secondary opportunities for students. It expands upon our past and after-school programs to ensure student success. Continuing with the same, sustains K-12 coding emphasis and refreshes course offerings to meet the changing needs of students. There's a lot of new courses for next year, but some of those include human genetics, academic skills concepts, and IB sports, exercise, and health science. And now my favorite slide, how do we pay for this? So school districts have to develop a balanced budget, which means that the revenues have to equal to its expenditures. For Hauppauge, the greatest source of revenue is the tax levy. So looking at current 22-23 year in comparison to 23-24, there's a percent change of 2.57% as of today. What that means though, although 2% is the tax levy limit, there are exclusions within the tax levy calculation that allow you to go over that 2%. So the 2.57 does not mean that we're looking to go above the 2% levy limit. It simply means this is our limit of that 2%, broken down best possible for my nerdiness. The next gigantic source of revenue for Hauppauge is state aid. So comparing to the current year, we're seeing an increase of 10.92%, and the bulk of that is through foundation aid. Next, pilots, which are payments in lieu of taxes through.
Bridget, I was just talking
Go
about
ahead.
sorry. So the state aid, man, is that what everybody sees in the news day for the community members?
Yes.
That's the 1.8, 1.9?
Correct. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Pilots, payments in lieu of taxes. This is from the IDA, and it's pretty early in the process with both the County of Suffolk, the Town of Islip, and other entities to determine what exactly will be coming off or onto our roll. So this will definitely change between now and the next couple times that I present to you. Other includes district-wide rentals, districts giving us tuition for their students, receiving health services for those students, and many other things that encompass the 2.5 million there. Reserves is just a historical use of reserves that Hauppauge has put forth every single year for years past. Fund balance application to also offset the impact of the taxpayer. And then a grand total of $128,739,896, which is a budget-to-budget change of 3.89%, which is different from that first top line of the tax levy limit percent change. Those are 2 separate things working in their own little lanes like Mario Kart. So, like I said, we need a balanced budget, so revenues have to total the expenditures, and we do that, so I can check that off. The expenditure budget is meeting that at $128,739,896.
Can I ask you, sorry, quick question before you move on that? So I was reading something somewhere that a lot of the districts, I don't know how the other assistant soups feel about this, and maybe you've spoken to them, are going to take advantage of the pretty big increase this year in state aid to maybe not raise their tax levy as much as they thought, or at all. Can you maybe explain why we would entertain that or not entertain that, the pros and cons?
Sure. There are some districts that saw upwards of $13 million as an increase, and we did not. We see just under $2 million. And with the 5 collective bargaining agreements that we do have, everybody's salaries get more expensive every single year. So that alone would take up just that chunk. It's just not enough to offset anything else.
And you mentioned before that we were replacing the 3 teachers retiring. If we didn't, would it really affect class size that much? Is it more of a logistical thing mapped out with which school they're retiring from and, to keep those numbers where we want them. Obviously, we're big on keeping the numbers low, right, the ratios. But, looking to save anywhere we can.
Yeah, absolutely. At the elementary level, it definitely depends on where someone's retiring and where the section changes are from one year to the next. So we could have a couple of new entrants that put us over at a particular grade level according to board policy, which causes us to break a section.
Right.
We actually have 4 retirements, but we're only replacing 3, just so you know. So there is that savings.
Overall, the enrollment goes down every year. At least that's been the trend for the last 10 years. So at what point do we say, okay, we don't have to replace these 5 retirees? And I know you sort of just answered it now, but, I think we're going to have to get to a point maybe because aren't there other jobs that are required for year by year, we get maybe an unfunded mandate from the state where we have to create a position?
Sure.
Whether, so I know we've had those over the years. So to replace teachers where it's not mandated, maybe when we don't have to with class size.
Yeah, so it's a great...
Study that closely.
Yeah, it's a great question. The only thing I would add is that although enrollment has been declining, and now it's kind of declining at a slower clip, the needs of students dictate many times some of the FTE changes or needs. So we have some special ed needs that are mandates. We've increased E&L over the years to reflect changing demographics. So that's where we've been seeing increases even in the face of decreasing enrollment.
Bridget, did I just... Bridget, can I ask you a question? So with respect to the teachers that are retiring, it's my understanding that they're in special interest areas like art and music. So we would need to replace them or cut back on those programs.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think, if I may, I think it's also important to remember that when we started sitting down with our bargaining units, I guess it was 6, 7 years ago already, it was never the goal to reduce the number of teachers. It was the goal to hire new teachers under the new framework of the CBA that we had negotiated. So this is, I think, according to plan, and there's going to be a built-in savings just because of the way that we negotiated the new contract.
There's no doubt about that, but there's going to be a certain point we reach with declining enrollment that hiring new teachers is not going to be, we don't need to make it 1 in 10, right?
Right.
So just bringing it up, I get that if it's a special area where we have to have a replacement, you have to have a teacher, of course. We're not looking to cut programs, that's not my point. We want to keep the same quality that we have, but.
Yeah. So is it fair to say, Joe or Dr. Murphy, that the replacements that we're bringing in are being brought in to maintain our low class sizes in the elementary level and to maintain our programs that we're currently offering, including, I guess, a new program, the IB Sports?
Correct, and we're actually, excuse me, we have 1 less elementary section next year, which is why we're not replacing one of the retirees.
I mean, to Dr. Crafty's point, if we have class sizes of 10, that's probably a luxury that we can't afford.
Yep.
But I think everyone is in agreement that the smaller the class size, the better, and I think we're pretty comfortable right now where we are on the elementary level.
And I will say that the class sizes have been very well received by parents and principals and teachers alike. It's been beneficial to the kiddos.
And to that point, though, wouldn't it be good to let the community know that there are 4 retirees and one of them is not being replaced?
Yes.
Can that be added to the budget so we let the community know?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Bridget, on this slide, what is the outlier there, the 24% jump? I know it's not a big amount of money in the grand scheme of things, but what does the 24% jump in other represent? Is that the renegotiation of the leases here, or is it something else?
Something else. It's self-insurance recoveries. That we see a lot of revenue there.
So is that a one-time
Yes.
shot, so we should expect it to even out next year?
Yes, but there are other revenue lines that will shift
Right.
every year.
No, but a 25% jump forward, right?
Right.
We shouldn't expect that every year. We need to
No.
budget as if it's going to be closer to the $2 million number.
Yes.
Bridget, I have a question. Can you just go back on the slide where it said the FTEs?
in the Department of English Math, is that at the high school level? So if a teacher is doing, you know, an extra class, is that just like that 1.2 or 1.1? Is that where that is coming from, the FTE? Do we know that?
The overages.
Is that where the overages are? Is it mostly at the high school?
Yeah, the
middle school
math,
level?
we're adding some additional math support at the elementary level.
So that's not additional teachers, that's just a stipend a teacher would get if they went over their 1.0? Is that what you're talking about,
that-
FTEs? Is that the overages?
Yeah, these are not all full FTEs.
Right.
At the next presentation,
Yeah,
we'll dive a little
yeah,
deeper into
can
the
you?
weeds.
That'd
on
be
that.
great.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Just two little things before I move on. So state aid has the asterisk there. This is the snapshot at the governor's executive budget proposal. So the next time we'll see is the legislative budget, which will come on or about April 1st. And from there, we'll see potentially an increase, but it will certainly change the picture of everything. The tax levy, again, is certain to change between now and then, and again, pilots. So this is just a snapshot in time. At the next budget presentation, we'll go deeper into the tax levy limit, the calculation there, and I will try my best to break it down.
Great. Questions from the community in attendance concerning the presentation? Further questions from the board? Okay, good. And as Ms. Sienna said, tonight, oh, yes, Mr. Bruzzo.
Every year when we do the budget, we shoot for trying to keep the numbers even, so we don't take a dip and have to recover. Is the 3.89, is that the number we're trying to keep? What was our increase last year? Do you remember?
Budget to budget was about 3.
The 3 last year?
Yes.
We increased us 3%?
Yes.
But is that generally what we're looking at? Is that where you focus at?
Uh,
Just so we don't, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you talking about levy or expenditures?
Which number, that's it, are we looking at the levy number or the?
We make a habit of levying up to the tax cap
Yes.
So it's the
calculation.
levy.
Correct,
Yes.
correct.
Thank you.
And just in general, Bridget, correct me if I'm wrong, but tonight is just a general overview of the entire budget, and over the next few meetings, we'll be drilling down on the specific portions of the budget where hopefully we'll have some more community participation and that people will be able to ask very specific questions about where we are.
I will get nerdier from here on out, yes.
Perfect, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Five C on the agenda is adoption of minutes from the February 7th, 2023 meeting. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Scredo. Second, Mr. Kiley, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? 601, Mr. Barchet abstaining. Number 6 on the agenda, questions and comments on tonight's agenda only. Does anyone in the community have questions concerning the agenda? Number 7 on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do any members have items that they'd like to have removed from the consent agenda? With that, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda in total. I'll make the motion, Mr. Scredo seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? 7-0. Dr. Murphy?
So I just wanted to recognize on the personnel action report, we have a new hire who is in attendance tonight. So I'd just like to recognize Philip Augusta, who's here with us tonight. Welcome to the district. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Number 10 on the agenda, discussion matters. There are none. New business. Do any board members have new business? Mr. Scirito?
I just want to thank Dr. Murphy and the crew underneath for the great call this morning as far as a 2-hour delay. I speak with a lot of other parents throughout the neighborhoods, and I think Kings Park waited till 5 o'clock this morning to call for a 2-hour delay. So it's, as a parent, I appreciate knowing the night before instead of scrambling. So I want to say thank you for that. I also want to thank you, all the ground crew. They did a nice job. You know, the schools looked fantastic this morning, dropping off my son. Security people, as always, I want to thank them. Crossing guards do an outstanding job. I don't know, amazing. They came out with a ranking system. I didn't realize there's 670 schools in New York State. Graduation rate, Hauppauge was high up there with number 50, so that's something to be proud of, even with all the little smaller schools. There was another interesting article too, and maybe we have the answer, maybe we can get the answer. The extra food and all the stuff like that we have in cafeterias, does the food vendor handle that? There's an article that we could donate it. Is that something we can look into?
Ms. Sienna, will you look into that? Talk to Kim Lastuvka?
And then two of the things that we make. There was another article too about a money class. Do we have a money class for our high school students as well as our middle school students as far as, as far as like, learning how to checkbook, learning to do your numbers, the whole great article.
Got a lot of stuff there in front of you.
He was interesting. So we have career financial management, we have some classes, but we don't have a course that's taken by all students. But it is, wrapped into some math
Is there any way we can do that? It blows my mind that a kid will graduate and doesn't know how to balance the checkbook. I think we're dropping the ball on a lot of basic skills that our students should be learning.
It's something that we could talk about at the board level as a graduation requirement, but to Dr. McCarthy's point, it's an elective, and we do have plenty of students who do take it.
Okay. And then the last thing that followed was that CPR class for the Heimlich maneuver stuff again. So I hope we don't drop the ball on that. I believe the teacher's name was Jacob.
Well, we just, some breaking news, we have some, we spoke to a local firefighter who's a Hauppauge graduate who reached out to us, and we're actually in talks about some partnerships with CPR and other endeavors. So we're pretty excited about that. Can I share?
Sure, yeah.
Scott Monroe, who's at Hauppauge Fire. So we already have a great partnership through Chief Crean, and we're going to follow up with Scott and see what we can develop.
Thank you, Dr. Just always to be better. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any other new business? I just wanted to comment very briefly on the exchange student program, specifically the French students that we had over the last few weeks, and just to thank and compliment Madame Rigaud and Rousseau on their hard work in putting this together. My family had hosted one of the students, and it was a great experience, and I hope it's something that we can expand upon going forward. I know that it was off the table for a while with COVID and everything else, but it was an incredible experience. I think it was good for our kids, good for the community, and I'd like to see us continue and expand on the program.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Mrs. Ferrara was getting updates from the teachers who she was sending some pictures to Dr. McCarthy and I, and so I also want to commend Mrs. Ferrara who helped to support and organize that as well.
Absolutely. Any further new business from board members? New business from administration? Questions or comments from the community concerning anything related to the district whatsoever? Ms. Dobbs?
I can just do it right here. I'm blank, right?
It's, yeah, just speak up so people at home can hear you.
Sure.
Thank you.
It's important that we recognize those that go above and beyond for our children. As teachers, it's nice to be recognized for these moments, and this is why I'm here this evening. Sorry. On Sunday, February 19th, as my son Chase and I were leaving college visit, I received a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. For some reason, I picked it up, and on the other side was Madame Rigaud. She was with my daughter Alexa in France with 20 other students for her first day of a 9-day trip. Calmly, Madame Rigaud proceeded to let me know that she was with Alexa and that she was having an allergic reaction to a meal she just had. Her lips were swelling, throat was itchy, and then she began vomiting. Due to the extent of her symptoms, Madame decided that an ambulance was needed for Alexa. Madame Rigaud ensured that the other students were taken care of and escorted Alexa in the ambulance to the hospital. Madame continued to keep me posted throughout the ambulance ride and in the hospital through phone calls and texting. Appropriate medical decisions for Alexa were made while at the hospital. Finally, at 3 a.m. French time, Alexa was discharged and she and Madame made their way back to the hotel to catch some sleep before they needed to be back up very shortly for after their return to the hotel. Madame Rigaud did not treat Alexa as just her student, but rather like her own child. I wholeheartedly knew that Alexa was in good hands. A trip like this is extremely time-consuming and a stressful process. Days and months were spent on preparing all aspects. There is no doubt that Madame Rigaud wanted this to be the best possible trip for all of her students. She worked diligently with ACIS to ensure that the students would get the experience of a lifetime while continuing their love for French language and culture. To have the added stress of emergency situation on top of all of this only adds to it. Yes, it is part of her job to take care of her students while abroad. However, in this circumstance, Madame Rigaud went well above and beyond for Alexa and for my family, and I will forever be grateful. We will now have Alexa tested for a tree nut allergy that we had no idea that she had, and thankful that this gives us a chance before she heads to college in the fall. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Jen, thanks for sharing that. Any other questions and comments from the community concerning anything related to the district whatsoever?
Can I, Mrs. Dawson, when the teachers are going places with the students, do we carry EpiPen?
Probably not unless they're needed. We had no idea, Alexa.
I know, I'm just saying if that would have, my son is, I'm just curious, I'm not a doctor, you're the doctor, so I don't know if that would have helped in the instance if they couldn't get to the doctor, I don't know.
They take EpiPens if they're prescribed.
No, I understand, I'm just wondering if
Yeah,
we
but
should carry them anyway, that's what I'm
To do it without a prescription, if there's a reaction to them, yeah, it might be a bad idea.
Just wanted to ask, I didn't know it was, you're the doctor.
But, you know, it goes to your other point about teaching everybody about CPR and all the other safety, so obviously that's in our district in particular, with these 2 episodes we've had recently. You know.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments from anyone related to anything whatsoever? Yes, sir.
With Governor Hochul's proposal for affordable housing and building multi-story, how much of an impact do you think that would be towards the future? I know there's a parcel of land on by the expressway and Route 111. I think there's a developer there. It's in Islip. I don't know what decision they're going to do, but it's supposed to be, I think, like 9 stories or something like that they propose. It's way above what the village variance is, what they're looking for the variance for.
Mr. Augusta, maybe I can catch you for a minute when we close, just to learn a little more and follow up.
And Dr. Murphy will drill down specifically on that, but in general, it is a concern of the board, and we've taken positions on certain developments, whether it be in the industrial park or wherever. Our enrollment, it's a sensitive balance here. We don't have a lot of money to spare either way, so it's something we're always attempting to keep our finger on the pulse of. But as far as the specific issue that you brought up, please speak with Dr. Murphy about it. Thank you. Anything? Yes, Ms. Salvia?
Dr. Murphy, do you remember the names of the students who were the 3 national merit finalists? Do you have that? Just want to offer those students congratulations. I know it's a huge accomplishment for our students to be able to achieve that. I know it was posted on the website.
I don't have my.
Is it on there?
I can offer,
Oh, if you have them.
I said I could offer a little assistance. So I believe it's Darman.
Maybe take Ms. Salvia's microphone.
Okay, I'm sorry. So one was Dominic Namanini, I believe is his last name. Cortana, I'm not familiar with the last name. And then the final one was actually, Madeira. Cortana Madeira. And then the final one is my own son, Ryan Capise.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments from anyone concerning anything related to the district whatsoever? Okay. Our next meeting is another budget and business meeting, Tuesday, March 14th, 2023, wishful thinking. We have executive session after this meeting, which will begin at exactly 8:40. I'll take a motion to retire into executive session to discuss pending litigation in the matter of Jane Doe v. Hauppauge School District, as well as to seek advice from counsel. Mr. Buscarino, thank you. Dr. Kraft with the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 7-0. We are adjourned to executive session. God bless America and God bless Hauppauge. Thank you.